good.
Week's going well?
Yeah, all going good.
Yeah, we were supposed to see you fight in December. We just talked to you not too long ago, and obviously that didn't happen. I guess, how excited are you to be back, and I guess how frustrating was that cancellation, if at all?
I mean, it's always frustrating when we work hard and we don't get to show out, showcase everything that we've been working on. But at the same time, I just feel like that training camp wasn't a waste of time. I evolved so much and brought all that to this training camp for this fight now. So I'm super excited to go out Saturday night, get into that octagon, again, and show all my evolution, show everything that I'm ready to do.
And what was your process after that? I think the UFC, you guys were in discussions about when you wanted to come back, and I think there was some rumors about Kevin Holland or some other options. So I guess what made you think this card, this opponent, this is the right time?
Yeah, so right away what they tried to do, what they wanted to do, was to reschedule the fight January or February. But I let them know for me it was going to be hard. I had a full training camp. I went from 195 to 178. So it wasn't total weight cut, but most of the weight cut was done. So my body needed that rest and recovery. Plus, I had my family from Brazil traveling to Florida for holidays. We were going to Orlando, and all that was all planned out. So I was like, so many times in my life, I picked my career over my family. I cannot do this time, and I said, no, I'm gonna spend this time with my family. I'm gonna take, my time off. And March is the perfect, time frame for me to get back. Possibly Miami was one option I gave them, and then I found out about New Jersey, and I'm born in New Jersey, so I said, hey, why don't you guys put me there? I talked to my manager, Ali, and he made it happen. We got this. Originally, it was gonna be Brady. It didn't happen, but still, Buckley, top, dangerous guy, very exciting. So I was ready. Let's fight him.
Yeah, and like you said, you were initially supposed to headline this card. Was that a disappointment at all that it fizzled out, or?
I mean, for sure. Obviously, I would love to be the main event, 5 rounds against Brady, a top-ranked guy. I mean, but I don't think it's everybody says, right, we don't get always the things that we want, but on the bright side, I'm getting to fight in front of my family. I get to fight in New Jersey in the month I wanted to. So many things that are favorable. The training camp was great because of the time frame that I had, and getting a guy that in Buckley that, yeah, he's not ranked. We're not going to be the main event, but he has a lot of hype behind him. He has a style that people love to watch. I have a style that people love to watch. So the fight at the end of the day is a fight that people are going to have, are going to be supporting, are going to be watching, and I can showcase my skills, my work, and keep on moving up in the division.
And I feel like nowadays, particular, it's a lot of fighters don't like to kind of give those guys that opportunity, maybe that aren't ranked when you have a number. So I guess, was it the excitement that really brought out, hey, he's not ranked, but this is going to be a great fight for the fans?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of everything, First of all, I'm a fighter, I'm a fighter. What do? We fight, right? So I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's when I want to fight. It's where I want to fight. I feel good. I feel ready. What's the problem with that? Okay, it's not a ranked opponent, but everything else is exactly what I wanted. Let's go and let's fight this guy. And I know that I have the skills to beat him. I know that I have the skills to go out there and put on a great show for the fans. So for me, it's kind of that's what I do. This is what I want to do. I'm excited to go out there and perform. And also, I've been in that position before, in Buckley's position. I've been the guy outside of the rankings that, people were concerned about because we're good, we're dangerous, and it's always, fighting is a risk, there's always a risk. But I feel like the more risk I take, the more reward I'm going to get from that, and that's how I look at this fight. Yeah, he's not ranked, he is dangerous, but so I am dangerous as well, and I'll give him the opportunity to come in and try to, beat me, but I'm going to go out there and show everybody what I can do.
Last one for me. You were supposed to fight Ian Gary in December. I'm curious, you guys knew each other from training. I mean, that was well documented. Did you talk to him at all after that cancellation, and is that a fight that you still hope happens someday, or is it kind of?
I mean, no, we haven't talked since then. We had great relationship, training, and always like in training, teammates, always very respectful, always a good time, great training. And I still, I wish the best for him. I believe he wishes the best for me as well. But right now, he's in a different team. And also I look down the line, his plan is to move all the way to the top. My plan is to move all the way to the top. So eventually that means we're going to fight. So if we ever get to train again, I think it's going to be awesome. If I see him in person, I'm sure it's going to be a great time. But it's just he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, and I wish him the best. And if we got to fight eventually, I'm down for sure. Let's do it.
Vicente right here.
Yep.
How do you compare Sean Brady up against Joaquin Buckley? Because, from a fan's perspective, very contrasting, different styles.
I agree. Very, very different styles. I think that Brady is more of a, more strategical, more of a grappling, wrestling-oriented fighter. I think both of them are really strong. I could put that. Both of them are really strong. Maybe similar in that point. Now, one is orthodox. The other guy is southpaw. Buckley is a guy that has very elusive, different. Crazy strike, he comes with shots out of nowhere, very explosive. So yeah, I mean, on paper they're totally different guys. The good thing is this fight got switched before my training camp. Usually is between 6 to 8 weeks, and the 4 final weeks are when I really dive into the style of my opponent. So the change was before that. So I was still developing my own skills, my own abilities, what I want to do, how I'm going to impose my will. So it wasn't that hard to adapt and to change the style into fighting a guy like Buckley. So yeah, it's a different game, but very exciting game to study as well. And I love striking, so at the same time, it's kind of something easier to study.
Do you think you and Sean Brady will fight one day?
I think so. I mean, he's a great fighter. I think he's gonna get a big fight next, or maybe I don't know how his injury is. Maybe he could even be a future opponent, after this. But right now, the focus is on Buckley. I gotta go out there and get a big win, and that's gonna set me up, to facing these top guys.
And then I know you just said you're focused on Buckley, but I have to ask this kind of far-out question. UFC 301's coming up in Brazil. Any potential for a quick turnaround on that card?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? If I go out there and I get a quick knockout, we never know. If they got a big name, a big, offer on that card in Brazil, it's always awesome to fight in Brazil. Have all my country backing me up, screaming and cheering for me. But like I said again, I got to get past Buckley. He's not a guy to look down on, so let's go there and do work. Thank you.
Hey, Vicente.
Yep.
What did you think of Michael Page's debut?
So I thought it was interesting. He's always been this really, really elusive and striker, where he has these crazy fights where he goes out there and plays with his opponents. But now he was fighting in the UFC, a guy in Kevin Holland, which is not just any fighter. And I thought it was good for him to go out there and get a win. I think that he didn't look like he looks against other fighters in other venues, but I don't know. Maybe, it was his first fight. Maybe also people say, okay, he's experienced. It's different to fight in the UFC. You got that pressure of being able to showcase all you've got on the biggest show on the planet. So maybe it was a little bit of that. But I'm excited to have a guy like him in the division, a guy that definitely brings a lot of eyes of the fans, and we'll see. Maybe down the line we can even put on a fight, and I would love to. I always like facing all the strikers and testing myself out against those guys. If it makes sense down the line, he keeps on climbing up, I keep on climbing up. We'll see, but yeah, it was interesting it's great. I think it's great to have him in the division.
Hey, Vicente, right back here. Heading into your last fight, you were coming off that long year layoff with the brain injury. Just wondering how's the health overall been with this longer training camp now?
Thank God, man. My health has been 100%. You know, I feel better than ever right now. That was a long year off for me before the RDA fight, recovering. But at the same time, I feel like even though it was such, a crazy injury, I was blessed during that time to just take that year off, be able to really focus on me, on my family, on all the things I needed to change in my career to become a better fighter. And now I'm just seeing all those, all these changes I made. I'm seeing them all pay off in how good I feel in every area, physically, mentally, technically, and developing and becoming, a better and better fighter. So overall, I think that, it was a hard injury, but I came out of it better than I was before.
And you kind of touched on it there. You've been really open about your Christian faith. Just can you talk about or describe how that impacts you in your personal life and in your fight life as well?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I've been, I've believed in God for a long time, since before I got into the UFC, but I had never really seeked understanding that much until the injury came. I got the brain injury. I had to be a year off. My job and my dream was in jeopardy because I might not have a career anymore depending on how my recovery went. And at that time, when you get to points like that where you really have no control, what are you gonna do? You either gonna break or you're gonna seek God, and that's the moment I felt, because I've always felt God's presence. I've always felt Him blessing me in my life. That's why at 17 I started fighting MMA. 23 I get to the UFC, and I have the run I have in the UFC. I've always felt God blessing me. But at that moment, it was different. It was really God rebuilding me and bringing me closer to Him. That's when I started, reading more of the Bible and really diving in and going to church like I had never gone before, much more consistent and really learning. And by learning, it's that, you really see that's the truth, that's the way, that's the life. And once you find that, nothing else matters. I understand that what I do right here, what I'm doing right here, this is part of my purpose and the purpose He gave me. So there's no worries on my mind anymore. I'm fine with whatever the outcome will be because I know He's taking care of it. And now it's all about living the life He's giving me and be able to share this and be able to bring this to more people so that everybody, can have this peace, can have this tranquility just to enjoy all the blessings that God has for us. And that's what I want to share. That's what I want to, always represent and always show in everything I do.
Amen to that. Thank you for sharing, and good luck.
Thank you.
I just got one more for you. You mentioned earlier how you were born in New Jersey. I think a lot of people kind of forget that because you proudly represent Brazil. So you grew up here and then you moved back to Brazil, right?
I was born in New Jersey, Westwood, New Jersey. I lived here until I was 6 years old, and then I moved to Brazil with my mom. My dad still lives in Jersey. My grandfather lives in Jersey. My uncle, my aunt, my cousins all live here in Jersey. My grandfather will be attending the fight, and that's going to be the first fight ever of mine that he attends. So, a lot of exciting things to be fighting here, and it's special. I fought in Brasilia, Brazil. That's the city my mom is from, where I grew up. I fought in Santiago, Chile. That's where my dad was born. And now I get to fight in my home state, the state that I was born in, and just give back to all the guys that have always supported me.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.